determine zinc 2 plus cyanide and hydrogen cyanide in a saturated solution of zinc cyanide with a fixed pH of 1.73. The KSP for zinc 2 cyanide is 3 times 10 to the negative 16, and Ka for hydrogen cyanide is 6.2 times 10 to the negative 10. Okay, so this is a systematic treatment problem. Remember in the class we went over the steps for this type of question. The first step, of course, we have to write down all of the pertinent reactions. So we write down those reactions involved. First, this is the KSP reaction of zinc 2 cyanide, okay? And the second one is the Kb reaction of cyanide ion, then forming hydrogen cyanide. Then third one, since it's in aqueous solution, so that's why Kw should be always involved. So those three reactions. And next one, we need to write down the charge balance reaction. But since in this problem, the pH is a fixed value, which means, we don't need to really use the H plus since the concentration is given. So, and there's also no other information regarding the charges in the buffer solution used. So that's why we just skip the charge balance, that step. Then we'll write the mass balance. Mass balance, we do need to write that down. So the concentration of 2 times of the zinc's concentration should equal the sum of the concentration of cyanide ion and hydrogen cyanide, okay? And then we have 3 equations. Then we have to also write down the coefficient, not the coefficient, the equilibrium constants of the 3 equations. So, okay, the 3 equations on top, and we also already saw those values for those constants. You see it's right here, all right? So, and just make sure when you write those equations, it's always the products on top and the reactants on bottom. Remember that? So should be always that. Let's say the second one, you have hydrogen cyanide concentration times hydroxide concentration. That should be on top. Let's see the second one. Yeah, that's on top. All right. So then the cyanide, the reactants concentration on bottom. Anyway, so those are the equilibrium constants, and we got quite a few equations. Now we can count. You can count the number of equations and unknowns. We only have 3 unknowns we need to solve for: hydrogen, cyanide, and zinc 2 plus. And we should have more than 3 equations available to us right now. So then we should be able to solve the problem. Okay. Remember, systematic treatment is always, so while you try to find out the relationship between the unknowns so that in one step you just have one unknown, then you can solve for that unknown. Then you keep solving the second one, the third one. Okay, that's the approach. We had one good example in our lecture notes. So, but anyway, first the hydrogen concentration is already known, and we just find that out. The pH is 1.73. So then we take the negative log of that. Here is what we have for pH. Once we, not for pH, I'm sorry. So that's the concentration for H+. Once we know the concentration of H+, we know Kw equals hydroxide times hydrogen's concentration and then hydroxide concentration should be Kw over hydrogen. All right, and then we find out that concentration, hydroxide concentration as well. Good. Now we can insert hydroxide concentration into the Kb expression. Okay, so as you can see now, we can get a ratio. We don't know HCN and CN's concentration, but we know the ratio. The ratio is 2.98 times 10 to the 7th. Okay, so use this ratio, we can find out the relationship between hydrogen cyanide and cyanide's concentration. So that's what it is here. Let's keep working. Now we use the mass balance. Okay, so that's a mass balance equation. We already know the HCN's concentration. HCN concentration right here equals 2.98 times 10 to the 7th Cn. So therefore, the HCN here is replaced. And now you can see we just have Cn on the left-hand side. So then you can combine the two terms on the left-hand side. Then you will have 2.98 times 10 to the 7th Cn, cyanide, equals 2 times zinc 2 plus ion. And now you see we can find out the relationship between cyanide ion and zinc 2 plus ion. That's the relationship. Now we can use another relationship to solve for zinc's concentration. And we have to use KSP. Use KSP equation. Okay, so zinc times cyanide squared, because the coefficient in that equation, that's a 2, okay? So that's a 2 for cyanide. And now we will get, just keep working on this, then we'll find out actually zinc's concentration, of course. So after the math, you will have the thing, zinc now is to the 3rd power, okay? So then you can you will get zinc's concentration equals 0.0666 to the power of 1 over 3. And then you should be able to get the zinc's concentration, 0.405. So we got the zincs. And then we want to find out next one, cyanide. Again, we have to use KSP. So we know KSP equals zinc 2 plus times cyanide squared. Okay? And we already know zinc's concentration. We just place that here. Then we can solve for cyanide concentration. So now we have both zinc 2 plus and cyanide ions concentration. We just need to find out